All right, guys. So today we got the trailer for the Street Fighter movie. They released a teaser just a while back showing all the characters, but they didn't really show too much by way of the plot or any dialogue. We didn't really hear much from the characters, but we got a lot of fighting and we got a lot of costume reveals. And I'm very excited for the very accurate look of each character for the most part. Casting is kind of all over the place. We'll get to that. All right, so let's go ahead and watch this trailer and see if it gives us a different vibe from the teaser that they previously released. All right, here we go. Oh, Ken with his Shoryuken. Statue of Bison looking nice. Ken's entrance looking a little goofy. Guile. All right. Flat top. Ken wearing boxing shorts.
You're not a warrior anymore, you're a sideshow.
What's up, MTV? I'm Ken Masters.
MTV.
This was your shot at
So it's taking place in the 90s. Oh, Balrog. Knocked him out.
Who are you gonna show?
The path I'm on now is not one of combat.
Ryu's looking very hobo-y.
Maybe it's Ken's turn to be champion.
How did you find me?
Wandering hobo Ryu.
Find champions,
Makes sense.
even if they're lost.
Good to see you, old friend.
What?
Still echoes.
Sit down. This torment is not what it's.
Pretty cool fight.
We have to be ready.
Everyone keeps going on about your thighs. I don't see what the big deal is.
Oh, Chun-Li. Oh, with the windmills. Very cool. Ah. Exaggerated Zangief move. Hurricane kick. Okay. Akuma. Oh, with the fireball. Okay. Oh, Dhalsim stretches. Blanca.
I'm positive that a fireball came out of Ryu.
Oh, yeah. Get that fireball, Ryu. Okay. All right. I gotta say, it is pretty much the same vibe as the teaser. It is campy, it is very goofy and over exaggerated, which I'm not sure if I'm a fan of this take on the franchise. I get it, you got some larger than life characters that look really cartoony, so they're really leaning into that. But I don't know. I feel like we've seen some pretty cool, serious versions of Street Fighter, including some of the animated stuff, Street Fighter V, the animated movie. But we also saw Street Fighter Legacy, which was kind of a mini series that dropped on YouTube, although I do have the Blu ray for that as well. And I thought those were really well done as far as a serious, believable take on the franchise. And I was hoping for something more like that. This is clearly a very campy, goofy, cartoony version of Street Fighter, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think if they do it right and we get some good laughs, it could be a fun ride. I am happy to see that most of the characters look pretty much exactly how they looked in the video game in terms of their costumes. Also really excited to see all the special moves in action. That was really cool. If you recall from the old Street Fighter movie with Van Damme, they did have some characters that look like their video game counterparts, but sometimes they dial it back too much. You didn't get a real fireball, you got a flash when Ryu did his thing. There's little examples like that where they kind of dialed it back and it wasn't quite as satisfying as seeing a full fireball or a full hurricane kick. But it looks like they really tried to incorporate the moves from the games here, which I really, really appreciate. So hopefully we get to see everyone do their signature moves at some point. It looks very, over the top. So you got like a lot of string work, some CGI as well to make those moves and superpowers happen. I would say it would have been better if they dialed it back just a hair. You can still keep it kind of cartoony, but it seemed like they leaned too hard into the campiness. I mean, if you look at Mortal Kombat, which is competing with this movie, is coming out in the same year, it does kind of have that larger than life, very CGI, very outer world feel, but it has a little bit more of a serious, darker tone, which I appreciate. And I just wish Street Fighter would take it a little bit more seriously as well. But we'll have to wait and see if the movie is good. I mean, you got the plot, you got the actors, you got the action. There's a lot of things in the equation that can make or break this movie. But at the very least, the accuracy of the costumes and the moves are on point. So hopefully the plot and the acting will live up to the standards as well. So far, I mean, they gave us a little bit of dialogue, but not a whole lot. We got to know the characters of Ken and Ryu a little bit and their dynamic a little bit. So that was cool. But so far, we haven't seen too much by way of other characters in their personalities and dialogues just yet. But I hope that they really bring it together and make a entertaining movie at the very least. My expectations are still fairly low just because it doesn't look like a movie that takes itself seriously, which a lot of people will enjoy and like that. But for me, I really would have rather seen a more serious take. I'm looking forward to the full movie so we can really see what they did with these characters. You have so many characters, so crowded, it's hard to really see what they're going for in such short clips. But I think I'm cautiously optimistic coming into this one. Unlike the teaser, we got a better look at Blanka. They didn't reveal Blanka yet. We got a first look at Blanka, played by Jason Momoa, of course. He looks pretty great. It's going to be kind of a CGI Hulk type situation, it looks like. Akuma's fireball special effect looked really, really nice. Okay, so what can we gather about the plot? It looks like Chun-Li is in a position to go out and find the best warriors to compete for world champion of the Street Fighter competition. I mean, it says World Warrior Tournament 2, 1993. There's a reference where she says maybe it's time for Ken to be champion. So perhaps they fought in the first competition and Ryu was champion and for whatever reason decides to go wander the world as a homeless dude. Ken seems to be some sort of a joke now that he's doing these silly little fights and he needs a chance to redeem himself and to prove himself. There's some history already established. Looks like Chun-Li already knows both of them. And there's some weird dynamic where Ken is trying to fight Ryu. Maybe he's upset that Ryu won. I don't know. And they haven't seen each other for a long time. Maybe he's mad that he left him. Either way, he's trying to fight Ryu. So there's something that needs to be mended there between these two characters. You see Chun-Li approach Dhalsim. You see her approach Zangief. So she's actively recruiting at least most of the fighters that we're going to see. So that's interesting. Is she working for Bison? Is she scheming with him? There's talk about, well, things aren't what they seem. We need to be ready, Ryu says. So maybe the cover is this world invitational competition of fighters, but there's something darker going on underneath with M. Bison behind it. So we got to wait and see what that plot is going to reveal. But I imagine it's just going to be a collection of these fighters that are gathered. You're going to be motivated to root for some of them. And after all it's said and done, there's going to be something more sinister underneath it all that they got to deal with. Did y'all notice the little sound bites, by the way? I think the announcer said perfect twice, which is a nice touch. I don't know if that's actually in the movie or if it's just part of the trailer, but nice touch. There's some other familiar sound effects from the game that were kind of edited in there, here and there. Okay, can we just talk about the casting choices just for a bit? So, first and foremost, Ryu. I like Andrew Koji a lot. I loved him in Warrior. He's in a few other projects. I think he's a fantastic actor. He's got a lot of swag and attitude. Very compelling actor to play a fighting type character. But his look just doesn't look like a Ryu. Ryu has a pretty distinctive square jaw, kind of wider set. And Andrew just doesn't have that Ryu look. I would have much preferred him as a Fei Long if they had brought Fei Long, which is essentially Bruce Lee. He played a Bruce Lee like character in Warrior, so it would make sense that he would keep kind of the same slender frame and do the Bruce Lee haircut and just become Fei Long and have someone else that has a little bit more of a squared out jaw play Ryu. But that's just a minor thing. It's really more of an appearance thing. But I just don't see him as Ryu, even with the full costume and everything. Noah Centineo plays Ken Masters, which at first I thought was kind of a weird fit because you usually see him with darker hair and he's a little bit heavier. But he got pretty slender and pretty ripped. He's got a shirt off in a lot of these scenes. He grew his hair out. The hair looks great. It's kind of a long, wavy, curly blonde hair, which works. He's got it up in the man bun and things like that. But I don't know. The way he's portraying him is a little too goofy for my taste. He just seems like an idiot, really. And the other renditions I've seen of Ken, yes, he's arrogant. Yes, he's got the wealthy playboy persona. But he's got kind of a serious side to him as well. And I think that was depicted really well in the Street Fighter V animated show. I don't know if he needed to be this dumb and silly for this movie. Kalina Lian looks just fine as Chung Li. Her demeanor is a bit stoic. I don't know if she's going to be kind of boring to watch, if she's going to be very serious the whole time with no personality. But I think she looks the part. Roman Reigns as Akuma. This is kind of a crazy casting choice. But he does have kind of that look, right? He's darker. He's got kind of a scary face. And they did his makeup nice. He's got the red hair, but he's got a beard, which Akuma usually doesn't have. But it does kind of work for this look, so I'm okay with that. I think he'll be exciting to watch as Akuma. David Dastmalchian, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, as M. Bison. I didn't really like this choice. He's kind of a smaller looking guy. He's kind of skinnier. He's not really intimidating like M. Bison's supposed to be. But he does play a lot of good creepy characters in his movies. So to that extent, I think he can kind of play the sinister, evil bad guy character in this movie pretty well. It's just his look. I wish they beefed him up or got someone that was a little bit bigger. But I liked when he rolled his eyes back and his eyes turned white. That was a nice touch. So we'll see how he turns out as far as his acting and see if he can pull it off. Cody Rhodes as Guile is a very weird choice for me. I can see why they went with him. He's a wrestler. He's decently built. He's got the blonde hair already, and they just made it exaggerated and bigger, obviously. But I don't know. His voice is a little too high pitched. It doesn't sound as manly as Guile should sound. And he's big, but he's not huge. There's bigger actors like, someone with like John Cena's frame, for example, I think would be a better choice for Guile. I think Guile needs to be more rugged. Cody Rhodes is kind of a pretty boy, whereas Guile is supposed to be kind of older, more rugged, kind of been around the block as far as his military service. He's high up in the chain of command, and I just wish they got someone that looked a little bit more authoritative and perhaps less goofy with the wig. I know it's got to be a wig to get that hairstyle, but they could have made it look a little bit more realistic. It looks too much like a wig. It's kind of distracting. Andrew Schultz, I don't really know who he is. I guess he's like a comedian or something. But he does look the part for a Dan, who's kind of the goofier looking character. You know him from the games wearing the pink gi, which I didn't see him wear the pink gi here, so I'm not sure if he will. He's got the ponytail and the little bang action. He doesn't usually have any facial hair, but whatever. I think it's fine that he's got a mustache or whatever. But he does kind of have that funny looking face. He's got the big nose and skinnier body frame. So I think it works. Orville Peck, I don't really know who he is. I think he's like a musician. As Vega, I've seen pictures of him. He's got the right physique. He's very slender. The blonde hair, the whole look, the claws and the mask. I think it works really well. Pretty happy with the way it looks, and his move where he jumps off and spins down. Love that. That was a really cool rendition of Vega's super move. So that was nice. 50 Cent as Balrog. I kind of love it, to be honest with you. Yes, he's a little bit older, but he got into pretty good shape to play Balrog. And 50 Cent, I watched him in his biopic a while back. I thought he was a decent actor. in that movie and some other movies. So I think he's gonna do a good job as Balrog. You know, he's got the swag, he's got the haircut, he's got the physique now. So I think it works with 50 Cent. Olivier Richards plays Zangief. This dude is huge, and I think he looks like the perfect Zangief. Didn't hear him talk much, so we'll see. But all you need is like a big Russian-looking dude, and I think he nails that. So I'm happy with his casting choice. Vidya Jamwal, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, plays Dalsim. He's got an interesting look because he's also kind of a pretty boy, even though he's got his head shaved and everything, and he's kind of muscular. I would have preferred like an older, skinnier looking Dalsim because that's generally how he's portrayed, kind of more like a Gandhi-like figure. The stretchiness kind of goes and pairs with the slender build, but here he's pretty muscular. So I really wish they went with someone that was, you know, believably skinnier and stretchier. Hiroki Goto plays E Honda. They just got a big Japanese dude. He's not huge, but big enough to believe that he would be a sumo wrestler. We didn't see him with the face paint, I don't think. He didn't show too much of Honda. I think he was in the bath where Ryu does his hurricane kick in a towel. So I guess there's a fight there. But I think getting an actual Japanese dude is a good move. Jason Momoa as Blanca is kind of perfect. I mean, Jason Momoa gets typecasted for any like savage character. You just throw Jason Momoa in there and it's somehow perfect. Lobo, savage, tough guy, looks great in the Supergirl trailer. Blanca, savage monster with crazy hair and beard, looks great. So didn't show much other than him busting out of a cube or something. But I'm excited to see Jason Momoa do his thing as Blanca. That's going to be wild. So there's some notable characters that aren't present. Sagat, oh man, I wish we got Sagat, but I guess we got to save some good characters for the sequel. But I hope they do get a tall Muay Thai guy from Thailand, hopefully, to pull off that look. It just feels very incomplete not to have Sagat in this first movie, but hopefully we bring him back for the sequel. We also got Mel Johnson, who I don't really know too well either, as Cammy. She looks great. Her costume looked good. No complaints there. She seems to be kind of the more sassy one, contrary to Chun-Li's character, so there's probably going to be some beef between them. But I think she looks fine. Reina is playing Julie. Reina is a legit martial artist, and she appeared in the Cobra Kai show recently. I think she's going to be a good casting choice. I don't know too much about the Julie character. I didn't really play the games that much to know who Julie is. Yeah, Reina's got some serious moves because she's legit in real life, so we should be getting some really good fights from her. Yeah, so overall, guys, I'm still kind of mentally adjusting to how comedic and goofy this whole movie is going to be. But I think once I get over that hump, I'm going to appreciate all the accurate costumes and character designs. Hopefully, they bring it together well to make a coherent movie. Hopefully, it doesn't flop. I am very fearful that it's going to be too silly and too goofy, and it could be a complete disaster for all I know at this point. But at the very least, hopefully we'll get some fun fights out of it. Do you think this is going to be a good movie? Is it going to be a huge flop because they tried too hard to make it funny? Curious to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments. As cheesy as it was, that old Van Damme Street Fighter movie was really entertaining. So hopefully they can at least do as good as that movie as far as entertaining us. But surely it'll be better than that boring Chun-Li movie that we got a few years back. So for better or for worse, I'm looking forward to seeing the full movie and seeing what they do. Until next time, this is PK's Reviews.